The secret to our charm is that we're a podcast. You'd think it's kindness. No. Just podcasting. Because we're the OSMcast. Hey folks, welcome back to the OSMcast, or welcome to the OSMcast, your podcast for everything awesome. I'm Basil.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Douglas.
And that's us. So, in case y'all haven't heard, there are rumors there is going to be a new Assassin's Creed announced this year, coming out next year, but announced this year, and it might be Vikings.
Yay.
Yay.
Hypothetically, yay.
Apparently, people have been looking at things in the Division, and they found a picture in some room that's Vikings with an Apple of Eden. So they're thinking, aha. People have been thinking it's going to be feudal Japan, but no, Vikings.
Well, as long as I can play a girl who hooks up with other girls, I'm down. Like, keep that, Ubisoft. That was good. Keep that.
I'm telling you, fake Cassandra's furry. Theoretically, she may not be. Whoever plays Assassin's Creed, you play your Cassandra or Alexios. I don't know why you play as him, but, do you? But I swear, now that I have the Beast Mastery in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where she's like, yes, come hunt with me. Yes, noble creature. Yes, it is time to begin the hunt. And I'm like, man, you're like, she doesn't normally start speaking like these soft tones, except for when you have an animal companion, and that is weird. Where do you want to go in Assassin's Creed?
You're kind of bumping into my, at least, between Japan and Vikings, you're kind of bumping into my two favorite cultures.
Yeah, either one would be good, right?
Yeah, I would. I don't think there are historical precedents for samurai meeting Vikings or anything, but the medieval Scandinavians did bump into the Middle Easterners, and that might be a tie for the whole assassin thing.
And with the whole ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, them sort of weaving in mythology with them dim alien stuff that Assassin's Creed can do.
I think if we get a little Scandinavian time, though, we could probably at least get some good boat stuff again.
It's true. Doug, where do you want Assassins to go?
Have they been to France?
Yes. Unfortunately.
Okay,
it's actually...
What about Africa?
No. Well, unless you count Egypt.
No, I don't count Egypt. I'd like them to go to the Congo, is where I'd like them to go.
Okay.
Interesting.
Assassin's Creed Congo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Challenge your development team to do some research on time and place not a lot of people research.
So there you go, folks. That's our Assassin's Creed minute of sorts. So, also, just so folks know, when this episode goes up, I believe this following weekend should be MTAC, I'm pretty sure, if my memory is correct. No promises, but if not, it's going to be very soon. And we're going to be there, sort of. We don't have panels, but we will be doing interviews, hopefully. If everything, all the stars align, we'll have more up-to-date, brand new 2019 interviews for you, our listeners, that you'll be able to find at OSMcast.com, or search for us on your favorite platforms of listenings. For podcasts, tell your friends, give us all the 5 stars. That would be great. I'm just saying. So, Kevin, it's time for you to cue up your Moment of Awesome's theme.
It's a moment of awesome.
But we're going to hit it off with Doug first.
What?
Yes, because I know you have a moment of awesome.
Fastball, a curveball moment there.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to talk about. I don't really know if this is a moment of awesome or whatnot, but I'm going to talk about the Illuminati.
What a phrase. It means no word. Wait, no. Sorry, that's a Kumatata. Continue.
Okay. So, first of all, We all acknowledge that the Illuminati exists, right?
I'm actually curious what prompted you to want to talk about the Illuminati.
Okay, so here's what prompted me to want to talk about the Illuminati. I finally got around to watching This Is America by...
Donald Glover or Childish Gambino.
Yeah, by
or
Childish
Troy from
Gambino.
Community.
I, in my head, label it as Troy from Community, but...
Okay, yeah.
I watched Childish Gambino's,
This Is America.
This Is America, and it really upset me.
That's at least, I think, one reaction it was trying to go for.
It really upset me. Like, I had to watch it several times until I got it. And then I wasn't sure what I should do with that information. I'm still not sure what I should do with that information. It feels a little bit like I'm a sheep on a farm, and I just overheard the dog telling the cows that they're about to get got. And so, as a sheep, I don't want to, tell the farmer that the cows know what's up, because I want the cows to survive. And also, if the cows go away, the farmer's probably gonna start eating veal. But at the same time, I'm just a sheep, so what the fuck can I do? This is where I realized the most important thing I think I can do is send a message to the Illuminati.
Because they are big listeners to this podcast.
Well, I don't know what the Illuminati listen to. I would like our listeners to spread this around as much as you can so that the Illuminati hopefully do hear it. Because I would like to talk for a moment about who I think the Illuminati are. I think it's crazy to think that there is actually a group called the Illuminati out there somewhere.
Okay.
So I'm not talking about literally the Illuminati or whatever. I assume that if they were the Illuminati, they would have changed their name by now. Or that there are probably several other clubs of powerful people who call themselves the Illuminati, but who knows if they actually are or not. I do, however, think that it makes logical sense that people have a tendency to form cliques and social groups among their peers. That's just a normal observation of human traits. Looking back at history, we can establish that oligarchies definitely exist. Small groups who have all the power and control things do absolutely exist. So, I think everybody needs to take just a moment and ask themselves, am I a member of the Illuminati? Do I have large control over what gets made into music and TV and where the money goes?
No,
I don't.
No.
But I think it's worth asking, if you could possibly be the Illuminati and not realize it. So, the important message that I want to convey to the Illuminati is that you're kind of fucking it up. So, the existence of an oligarchy that is secretly controlling everything isn't necessarily a bad thing, if you really think about it. The endeavor to try to spread wisdom and enlightenment really isn't that bad of a thing. It's probably actually good for the human race and for our continuation to aspire to be greater things.
I guess from the standpoint of if you're working from lofty ideals, yes, if you're living up to those ideals, I feel like organizations like that rarely do. But
well, that's why I say it's important. I also say it's important to question if you are in fact part of the Illuminati, because if you have these high ideals, you probably have striven to some certain amount of heights, and maybe you don't realize that you're part of the Illuminati, but you totally are.
Oh, you got me. I'm totally part of the Illuminati.
Then why aren't you giving us money?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not the Illuminati. I kind of wonder, though, does Elon Musk think he's part of the Illuminati? And if he is or is he actually not?
He thinks he is, but he isn't. They don't want him in the club.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he may have figured out that they were the Illuminati and then declined the entrance into their club, and now they're mad at for calling them the Illuminati without realizing that that's totally what they are.
No, I think he wanted to be in, but he started making really stupid things, and they were like, "Oh God, Elon, why are you?" He's like, "Hey man, I can smoke weed on this thing." Everyone's like, "What are you doing? Stop." What? I'm going to say some dumb thing on Twitter. No, stop. Oh, God. No, God. No, stop.
Did you just imply some guy in the Philippines with a pedophile? Elon, stop.
Well, we know from history, from actual things that have happened, that at least within the British Empire, at one point, there was definitely an evil cabal a cabal of evil bankers. Is one incarnation of the Illuminati we know existed for sure.
Well, there's like only about 5 real banks in the world anymore.
Well, that's the other reason why I say there definitely is an Illuminati, because there are only a couple of companies that actually own anything. Like the people who own Kellogg's, General Electric, and Disney, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely small groups of people who have large amounts of ownership of what basically becomes our everythings.
Right. And so they need to take a moment to look at themselves and have an inward introspective moment and ask themselves if they are the Illuminati. And if your answer is yes, that you are the Illuminati, you need to take a serious look at everything that is going on in the world and realize that ignorantly being part of the Illuminati is causing things to go awry.
Which, of course, unfortunately, maybe they're in the Illuminati, they know they're in the Illuminati, and honestly, they just care if they're just making money.
Well, that is incredibly short-sighted of them.
Yes.
Is the second part of my message here. That just being self-interest, if the people who are in power really are just self-interested, then they're being incredibly short-sighted. If things continue along the path that they're continuing on, I don't think they'll be able to keep that level of greed maintained in their lifetime. And so if they have any level of far thinking, they've got to do something. Because,
yeah, you need happy people with money to make you money.
Right. It's not a closed system.
Right. Yeah. If you have the capital ability to do so, you should probably strive to make the world a better place. I mean, we'd like to think that, but...
So, in short, folks, become wonderfully, progressively, super left hippies, like we are, and vote, and let's get some real socialism going, because I think it's pretty obviously that if the Illuminati exists, they're all old, rich, white men CEOs.
Yeah.
And I think the real problem is just that they're not thinking things through to the next step, because if they wanted guillotines, this is how you get guillotines. We are one step away from guillotines, and I don't think they realize it yet.
When I have a guillotine, I'm gonna name mine Occam. But what I think we're trying to say is there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, and this is the CommieCast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a super liberal lefty. I mean, I am so rooting for Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. There's not a single Democratic candidate I don't have some issue with, but Elizabeth Warren is definitely towards the top of my list of I'd be happiest with.
Yeah.
But Basil, have I successfully conveyed my dire message yet? Or
I think so.
Okay.
I hope it reaches somebody that can do something about it.
Because, like I said, I'm a sheep on the farm. I'm gonna get got myself.
Also, if you have Illuminati money, we can be bought. Throw us an email, OSMcast.com. If I have to become something else, whatever, but if I can just get paid, that sounds great.
We won't compromise 100% of our morals, but we'll compromise at least 25%.
It's true. Now, granted, if you pay me a lot of money, a good chunk of it is going to go to help support, like, Elizabeth Warren or whatever the Democratic candidate ends up being. But, anyways, so, Kevin, what's your moment of awesome?
I watched Aquaman and it was good.
Awesome. What was good about it?
Okay, that was crafted. That was crafted as a response to the whole long. That was crafted to the long Illuminati conversation.
Okay.
As an intentional joke. But no, actually, I just, last night, from when we were recording this, I watched Aquaman finally. And I'm like, I think it's DC's strongest effort at actually making a comic book superhero movie that looks like a comic book superhero movie. And it is, in some ways, kind of discount Thor underwater with Black Panther's plot. But it's like its only real competition for good DC movies is like Wonder Woman and maybe Shazam, but I haven't seen that yet.
Nice. Okay, so we're actually starting to run. We are running long.
Yeah.
But, so I'm going to give you two quickies. One, The Tick Season 2 has hit Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's good.
Go watch it. It's really fun. They definitely have learned the thing. It feels almost like an Ubisoft game got a Season 2 in that they realized what really worked in Season 1 and they kind of toned down things that didn't work in Season 1 and they give us more neat things in Season 2. Like Tick and Arthur, they're totally a crime-fighting duo. They're doing crime-fighting things. We get some excellent new superheroes in the mix, like Bronze Star and Sage. There's lots more Danger Boat, which is very important, as Danger Boat is the best character because he self-identifies as a boat. And they deal with that. Like, it's great. And then my other thing is, let's throw in another manga recommendation, and let's talk about Drifting Dragons by Taku Kuwabara.
Okay, that's one I haven't heard of.
It's being published by Kodansha. Okay, what if Skies of Arcadia met Monster Hunter, and it's a cooking manga?
Okay.
The idea is that there's all islands out in like in the infinite sea of clouds, or same thing, and there's a crew of folks that go and hunt dragons and eat them.
Okay.
That's this manga.
So, by my paranoid rant about the Illuminati existing, you may have also guessed that I've been reading The Promised Neverland. And so, people eating people is kind of on my mind.
Well, yeah.
But we're not talking about eating people. We're talking about eating dragons.
Which
Right.
are probably tastier and better for you than humans.
And I love the idea. It's a fantasy manga that's a cooking manga, but it's cooking like fantasy creatures, so it doesn't do you any good of actually learning how to cook.
Yeah.
Like a lot of different cooking manga do.
That also reminds me a little bit of Dungeon Meshi, which is like adventurers going into a dungeon and cooking things.
There's a lot of that in the Made in Abyss manga. Is they sit there and they figure out how to cook these abyssal horrors that they find in the.
Well, this
in the
thing only
abyss.
has 20 different kind of poisons to kill you. I wonder how we could cook this so we don't die.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy Drifting Dragons. I came on into it during the Kodansha Humble Bundle thing they did with a bunch of manga all at once, and it was one of them.
Wait, did I maybe pick that up then?
You might have picked it up.
I thought I bought that. Maybe I just haven't read that yet.
But no, it's a lot of fun. Anyways, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, and we're going to talk about the Illuminati some more, only sort of, because we're actually talking about Bones' adaptation of One's manga, Mob Psycho 100. We'll be right back.
If everyone is not special, maybe you can't be what you want to be. Så länge något är något du kan du. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
So chances are you've heard of one, the manga creator who does things like One Punch Man. I guarantee you know who One Punch Man is. His name's Saitama. He kills things or defeats things in one punch. It's a wonderful superhuman parody.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And he also did this other thing. It's called Mob Psycho 100, and it's it's also really fun. And in my opinion, I think I might like it more.
I might too.
I definitely do.
I enjoy One Punch Man. I enjoyed One Punch Man a lot. I feel like Mob is a story of a more vulnerable character, even though he's possibly almost as powerful.
So it takes place in modern day Japan, and our main character, our very, very good boy, is a guy named Shigeo Kageyama, or as we know him mostly as Mob.
Now, why is he called Mob?
I want to say that it's like just a nickname that someone gave him. I actually don't remember how he got the nickname Mob.
I feel like it was something about him not standing out in a crowd or something. Like, he was just like a generic NPC-looking guy.
Like, he is, I mean, and it's true, but he has always been, when he starts off in the show, he's not really that descript. Like, he's got the standard bowl haircut. He doesn't really express his emotions ever. He's always sort of the silent guy in the background of a mob, so that would make sense. And he is also possibly the world's most powerful psychic, or esper.
Yeah, like he is but of course he's otherwise this completely unremarkable guy you wouldn't look at twice, and it's just
And this is the story on this guy with incredible psychic powers, on how he learns to be a good boy. And it's all mostly thanks to all the interaction he has with his friends and family and coworkers. Like this guy named Reagan, who is the best boy. I don't care that Yuri, got it voted in on the Crunchyroll Awards 2 years ago. Regan was robbed. Regan is the best.
I don't know. I feel that Reagan doesn't really achieve his best boy status until the second season here.
I don't know. Well, I mean, okay. I think he becomes even bester.
even bester.
It's the second season. But even in the first season, he was still the best. The season 2 of Mob Psycho just has the wonderful habit of doing everything season 1 did, but even better. It's one of those things where he just keeps this crazy forward trajectory of goodness.
Yeah, but Reagan is allegedly a exorcist, spiritualist guy who will help you with your ghost problems, except he, has no powers whatsoever, and is glad when Mob shows up, because Mob actually has psychic powers and can do something about the jobs they get.
Well, and it's also one of those things where Regan, he is ostensibly, I guess, a con artist.
Kind of.
But he's not very good at the whole...
He's the most honest con artist you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
He's way more about the artistry than the conning.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes he really just is about making people feel better. That is a lot of his...
Well, what he's very good at is people come with, these quote-unquote spiritual problems. He identifies
what the actual
problem is, and then he gives a BS answer, and then actually gives them the solution they're looking for. For example, someone might come in, and this ghost is inhabiting them, and it's giving them these horrible backaches. So, as it turns out, Regan's really good at massages.
He has quite a laundry list of useful skills, just none of them are psychic powers.
Oh no, there's a quote-unquote ghost in this photograph.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Well, Regan can Photoshop real good.
He takes it out of the picture.
He is a man who has many, many, many skills. none of them are psychic or spiritual in nature.
But when they run into a real, genuine haunting or ghost or other weird phenomenon, that's what he calls Mob in.
And so in the first season is very much Mob sort of establishing his friends group, because as when we start off the show, like, he is visiting Regan on, he's doing these side jobs with him after school. But as the first season goes on, he joins a club, he makes friends. We learn about, his brother and what their relationship is. Like, it's definitely like Mob, like, starting to expand his world.
Yeah, there's, the girl he likes at school, the body improvement club, and just like being like the nicest bunch of jocks you've ever seen.
Well, that's the thing, is that everybody, by and large, I mean, there are bad people.
Oh, yeah.
But all the people that get to stick around end up being good people. Like, if you've ever wanted a show that was a great, guiding light on what's it like to be a good person, Mob Psycho is a really good show for that. It's very rare that I can say, well, what's this show? Well, it's wholesome.
Yeah. And it's a gorgeous show, except it's not, and it's both at the same time.
Well, it does this amazing job, like the Studio Bones in the animation, right?
Yeah, yes.
And they did just, man, and you can go online, and there are people that post like really good detailed descriptions on like what animators are working on what scenes, and they really go into detail on exactly how everything is amazing. But the fact is that the manga is done by one's his raw talent for drawing is not the greatest, but
enthusiasm sort of makes up for it.
Well, his enthusiasm,
storytelling,
but his storytelling, his way of knowing how to block everything out.
Yeah,
like, while his artistic skills, like to draw clean lines, may not be there, everything else you need to be amazing, get your point across, definitely is.
He has a good sense of composition of action, and like it's imaginative, and he of course is telling a good story. And the weird thing is when like the Mob Psycho anime kind of leans towards emulating his art style and character design, unlike One Punch Man, which emulates the manga has a different artist.
Well, if One Punch Man, One Punch Man actually is drawn by one first.
Yeah. I mean,
but then they got the guy who did the drawing for iShield 21. I believe he liked One's stuff so much that he actually, I'm going to redraw this.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw this, put this in Shonen Jump. Let's do this. And One was like, okay, sure, whatever, sounds great. Whereas I think Mob Psycho's always just been One.
Yeah.
But the Bones team definitely took inspiration from his style, but then allowed it to inform them to do some of the most insane animation that they could think of.
You take a still, almost like any shot of characters, almost any still shot of Mob, and you might go, well, that doesn't look very good. But when it's in motion, it's like, it's gorgeous animation, like all the way through.
It's sort of as in, for example, Redline. Yeah. Because it took them like 7 to 11 years to make, and it was on a theatrical budget. Every still screen of Redline looks amazing, and in fluid, in motion also looks amazing. This almost gets there, but you kind of have to sacrifice the individual frame to make it work.
Of course, I say this, and it was after a little bit of watching Mob Psycho. All the art style totally grew on me, but
no, the show is an absolute joy to watch, and it very much feels like sometimes anime does not get to feel like a cartoon as we understand it.
Yeah, usually
like that's one of the things that like Trigger does really well, is let's make this a cartoon, let's be a little bit goofier with our little animation. And Mob Psycho in Bones' own way does the same thing. Like there's definitely much more squash, stretch, pull, squashing, crazy, dynamic camera angles, and when stuff moves around, they spin around ways that only animation can do. to really just give breadth. I love how every psychic has their own unique identifiers to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one psychic looks the same as any other psychic, and all their abilities manifest differently, even if it's the same ability. In
I think there's at least
the holographic effect that
Right.
shines behind Mob
Yeah.
is different than the holographic effect
Yeah.
that shines behind another character.
And I think there's like 3 or 4 characters whose thing is like, my psychic powers make me super strong. And they all look and work slightly differently.
Yeah. But even if it's like someone who uses telekinesis, they're still their shading and things are different, and some characters may actually feel like they take more like darker tones to them, or like, but it's all really, they really thought this through on like, if we're going to make this show like, fully in color and it's going to move, and how are we going to do this, and they really had the chance to really sort of just go nuts with it if they wanted to really make the show stand out. And it's so fun, and it's really fun just watching like Mob grow up.
Yeah. He does have a lot of character development. He's just so terminally shy and quiet little kid who's like gradually comes out of his shell, makes friends, gets interests outside of being a psychic exorcist.
Well, it's I don't know if we're in spoiler territory yet, so I'll come old.
No, we're not quite there yet.
Well, I don't feel the spoiler, but it's pretty said pretty early in the show. Fundamentally, like Mob's main attitude seems to be psychic powers are neat and all, but that doesn't entirely define you as a person.
Well, kind of one of the major points of the show seems to be that, like, being special doesn't actually make you special. That you can have the most unique power in the whole world. You can be the strongest at it, but you're not really any different than anybody else. And so it's really your connections to other people that make you special.
Well, then I think it's just because you have like these amazing psychic abilities, you can't, for example, the body improvement team. Like, they're always training their bodies to be better, and Mob, because he's never really pushed himself, he is physically super weak.
Yeah, he is your metaphorical 98-pound weakling. Yeah.
But he joins the body improvement team to literally improve his body, and they're very good at, training their muscles, working out, doing runs together. And they're also really good at propping each other up.
Yeah.
When one's down, and or giving them the appropriate encouragement when they're doing well. And Mob sees this and wants to be a part of it because it's something that he doesn't have that he would like to.
And even though he's not like remotely on their level, they're always really supportive of him and really encouraging of him, and like they push him to improve himself, but they don't like push him too hard or push him away in doing it. They're just generally just good supportive guys, because it's like they see he honestly wants to improve himself, and they're going to help him at whatever pace he can do.
But it seems like the point gets made several times throughout the course of the show that psychic powers sort of it actually kind of inhibits your emotional growth.
It's like
it inhibits you from growing as a person.
Especially a lot of the antagonistic characters, it seems like their whole identity is wrapped up in, well, what do my psychic powers do?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, but who are you besides that?
Well, okay, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but I think it happens early enough on in the show that it's fine. One of the first things that really helps Mob's growth was one of the first times he meets Regan, because he goes to Regan. He as this little kid, he's worried about all these psychic powers he has, and he has no one to talk to about it because no one else has these psychic powers. And Regan's this foremost psychic that they've seen, he sees in the papers or what have you, and he goes to ask his advice, and Regan sets him down. He's like, okay, well, first off, psychic powers are awesome, but they don't define you by yourself. Like, there's many qualities that makes up the person that is you. Psychic abilities are just one of them. And if you're wondering, how to be charming, the secret to charm is your kindness. And I think those were two of the most important lessons Mob ever learned, because it allowed him to realize that, oh, I am psychic, but that doesn't define me just because I'm psychic. And I don't know if that message gets to everyone that, has an insanely amazing ability in doing something, to realize that, while that is great, that is amazing, good on you, cultivate that. That's not just you. You're a multifaceted individual, and all these facets are what makes you you.
So, Mob's a good boy.
Mob's good. Well, they're all. I mean,
they're all pretty much all good boys.
They're all good boys or girls or whatever have you. Like it's such a good show.
Pretty much everyone who meets Mob comes out better for it, even if he has to kick their butt first.
Well, it's true. Well, I mean, the Mob's secret skill that they never outright mention in the show, I don't think, not at least not like in so many words, is Mob's empathy. Like, just because Mob doesn't say anything, he's not dumb.
No,
he's not stupid. He's very intelligent, and he eventually realizes what things mean, what people are doing, and things affect other things and whatnot. And he eventually just gets this really good depth of empathy for other people, and starts really figuring out kind of what makes everything tick, even if he doesn't actually say it at first.
Yeah, I just realized we haven't even really explained the title, like Mob Psycho 100.
Oh gosh, yeah. So
because he's Mob he has psychic powers and all, but throughout the show I presume also in the manga, we occasionally get this little percentage level of his current stress. And it's his current emotional stress, and it's 10%, 20%, 80%. It's just whenever he hits 100% on his emotional stress, it's like whatever dominant emotion he has, kind of like he gets this tremendous explosion of psychic power, and he kind of loses his mind a little bit, but he gets this massive boost in power whenever that happens.
And it's also important to also realize the dude's in 8th grade.
Yeah.
He's not a fully formed individual yet.
Yeah, he is.
He's still very much a growing person.
Yeah. I was, reminded that, these were like kids in middle school. And it's that whole anime, you tend to make them at least a few years older than you think they are. But, yeah, he's got emotions, and they're complicated. And because, he's not as simple as he seems on the surface. He's got a girl he likes, and she doesn't seem to give him the time of day. I mean, she's his friend, but she doesn't seem to really want to be more than his friend.
She doesn't really seem to notice him, really.
Yeah. They were friends when they were younger, really, and then, she was completely unimpressed with his psychic powers. And but, hey, in the second season, he got asked out on a date by a different girl, and he went on a date. It was cool.
But that's one of those things, that this is a show where, some shows in One Punch Man, you don't get the depth of character development that you get in Mob Psycho. I don't want to say that no one's growing or changing in One Punch Man, but the amount of growth, it seems to be the point of Mob Psycho, where it's not the point of One Punch Man.
Yeah.
One Punch Man's more about, riffing on superheroes, and Saitama's, thing about him being ultimate power, but having no one to actually test that against.
Yeah, the risk of a controversial opinion, I feel like Mob Psycho is the more serious story. Even though both stories have their serious moments and comedic moments, I feel at the heart, One Punch Man is always meant to be a little bit of a parody. And Mob Psycho 100 has always been intended to kind of be like an actual serious narrative.
It's also kind of neat to see a show that's so about psychics.
Yeah.
In a world where, psychics totally exist, but it's very much the talk show circuit type of psychics, bending spoons and that sort of thing, that we don't get to see in pop culture as much as we used to anymore.
Yeah, talking to the ghost, bending the spoons, exercising the spirits. Ooh. The kind of psychics that, you can't really prove if they're doing anything or not most of the time.
And one of the ones is also eventually meeting other psychics.
Yeah.
meeting the Illuminati, as it were.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, there is a secret organization out for world domination in this story. At least one. One I'm not sure what to count. But there is the problem that Mob inadvertently creates a religion.
But the show is good. You should definitely watch it. It's on Crunchyroll. I think it might still be on Funimation, maybe. I know definitely it's on Crunchyroll and Verb.
Yeah.
But
It's on Toonami.
it's on Toonami, so there you go. You probably have already know about what this show is, and this has been useless. But that's okay. Who cares? We really liked it.
We like Mob.
We like Mob a lot. He's a good boy. Regan's the best boy. I don't think I forgot Yuri. You robbed him. You pulled an ice skate out of your gun, and you robbed him.
An ice skate out of your gun?
I give you the dirty looks. Give you the dirty looks because, well, I love Regan. Like, in fact, when I was trying to describe this show to my dad, I accidentally described it as though Regan was the main character.
Sometimes you can make that argument on occasion.
Like, oh, I really love Regan. But
let's just.
But I disagree with your assessment.
I feel like Yuri and Regan would be the first people to tell the other one that they are the best boy.
Well, I think Yuri would in his head be inner monologuing something about himself being not good, but then what would actually come out would be something sassy.
Okay, you're probably right about that.
Whereas Regan would just say, "Yeah, I'm the best boy." No hesitation.
But then very quickly, Regan would prove why he's the best boy. Because that's how his life ends up being, usually.
You end up fixing Yuri's ice skate or something right before the big competition. Because he secretly used to grind out ice skates in a factory job for a couple weeks. I don't know. It was...
Or like there's a horrible rip in his outfit, and yet somehow Regan's able to
sew it up
on the fly, and it looks perfect, like it was never ever damaged.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. That's just what he does. He is such the Red Ranger, like in this show, where he is literally a master of.
He's the second best at everything.
Everything except I think he's the best at everything secretly, but. Because he's not psychic. Like, he is the reverse Mob in that respect.
But, I don't know. It's a fun show, guys. It's a fun show.
Should definitely go watch it. But we're going to take a break, and then we'll go full on spoiler lands. Alright, folks, we're here in spoiler territory. The spoiler lands for the Mob Psychos. Where do we want to start first?
Well, what is really a spoiler?
Mob is a good boy.
Mob is a very good boy.
Well, Mob has always known that Regan's not psychic.
Yeah. That was an interesting reveal in the second season. Well,
He's always known exactly what Regan was. A good person.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, like, you learned the Regan backstory, where he was just, he didn't really want to do, like, the 9-to-5 normal thing. He kind of wanted to be his own boss. Saw, like, oh, you can be a psychic and make money off folks. So, all right. Cool. And then eventually, Mob, like, he starts taking too much advantage of Mob. And Mob starts realizing that he's being too much taken advantage of. Like, I think he's fine helping out Regan because he realizes, I think, in his own mind, that Regan could get himself in trouble real quick.
Yeah.
At this job. And he needs to be there to protect his master because he's not his master in learning how to be a better psychic. Not really. It's how to be a good person. He's more of Mob's life coach.
Yeah, the second season, the Regan gets popular arc is pretty... the rise and fall of Regan there. It's a pretty good one.
And where he pushes Mob too far. Mob goes, you know what? I'm going to hang out with my friends from now on, and I'm not going to come in as much anymore. And Regan's like, well, fine, I don't even need you.
I'll make my own anime with blackjack and hookers. And for a little while, he is kind of our main character of those episodes.
And it does a really good job of bringing back, like, you know, in the second season, there are plenty of, like, actual psychics doing, like, same thing Regan does. But you don't get it so much in the first season. The first season's way more about Mob, like, getting, you know, joining the telekinesis Esper's club, you know, where their room's taken over by the Body Improvement Club, but they're like, we're so busy going out to do things that y'all can still hang out in this club room too.
Yeah.
You know, and also, you know, meeting his brother and then fighting Claw for the first time. And then crazy pineapple hair guy who doesn't have pineapple hair in the second season. You know, all that stuff. Where in season 2, they're like, well, now that all that's established, okay, well, let's go some different directions. Let's see these other actual, like, they go into other parts of Tokyo or what have you in Japan, because it's all seasoning city and this pork chop, you know, town and what have you. And there's other actual, like, you know, psychics that are doing their own thing. You realize that this is not just a thing that only Regan does. There's actually a bunch of them. And one of the old guys who's been at it the longest in that area, he's sort of the master of it, this area. And Regan kind of, and Mob upstage him, like, a lot. He gets mad and decides to get revenge on Regan and plans this whole thing for Regan probably to explode, only to embarrass him on national television. You know, for him to remember that, oh, right, why did I keep doing this? And it was because just as much as he saved Mob, Mob saved him. And they actually both really need each other because they're both teaching each other how to be better people.
Yeah, second season especially has a lot of Regan realizing that Mob is growing as a person. It's like, oh, you actually have interests in your life now. That's
Well, catch up, like, we didn't even mention in the non-spoilers Dimple.
Yeah,
in the non-spoiler section, because I didn't really want to mention him at first, because, you know, that there's just this evil spirit who is doing not good things that Mob kind of busts him up so badly that he turns into a good guy. And he decides that it's better to hang her. Like, I think at first he was going to corrupt Mob, then he got reverse corrupted. Like, he got piccoloed pretty quickly.
Yeah, he still seems to occasionally talk like he figures one day Mob's going to be running the world and he wants to be on Mob's side when it happens.
And Mob could be if they only knew about the the psychic helmet religion that exists since due to the events of season 1.
Yeah, Mob accidentally creates a religion. Except, you know, they can't. The people who want to worship him can't find him.
I do really enjoy, like, and this happens in both seasons, where the first half of the show is just sort of like, you know, mostly story of the week.
Yeah.
You know, stuff, introducing things and whatnot. And then the second half is this villainous organization, Claw, of evil psychics. And now Mob and Regan have to go stop them from doing their nefarious things. And this is when they really get to go, you know, balls to the walls action. Crazy psychics doing crazy psychics things. And that kind of happens both seasons, where they start the show with just doing random things. And you'll still have moments of amazing animation. But then the second half of the show is actually, the Claw stuff comes back, and it does Claw stuff, and it's crazy good too.
Yeah, although who knows? If I know there's more manga, but that's like. Of course, it seemed like Claw was done with the end of the first season. Maybe there's something else. I don't know. There's bound to be something. I hope there's more anime. But it's like, you know, they defeated the Claw guys, and the second season it's, oh wait, no, there was a real leader guy behind it all, and he's got even stronger people with him. And conveniently enough, the guys you beat in the first season are now here on your side. Because we sort of have an attachment to them now.
Well, you also, one of the biggest things they did in season 1 was the whole development between, Mob and his brother Ritsu.
Yeah.
Where, while Mob is the older brother, he's the shorter brother. He is the, Ritsu is the taller. He is the more physically adept. He is the more, traditional shonen hero type.
Yeah, he looks like a shonen hero. He makes friends easy. He's athletic. He's smart. He gets good grades. But initially their relationship is kind of strained.
Well, remember, one of the biggest things was that Mob realized he had to start keeping his emotions on lockdown. Was one time where he actually hurt his brother when he first hit 100.
Yeah.
And so his brother was, of course, so he was very scared about hurting his brother, and his brother was scared of him.
Yeah, his brother did not want to set him off.
Yeah.
He kind of saw him as a ticking time bomb for a while.
And eventually, figured out a way to gain psychic powers himself because he wanted to be like his brother, but also sort of, I think in some ways, defend himself from his brother. And it was the one of the big moments in season 1 was them more or less going, okay, we're cool. We were brothers. We love each other. We're cool with each other. We get this now.
Yeah.
They're finally on the same page at the end of the first season, which I think allows us to do things like some of Regan and stuff in the second season.
Yeah, that's I do like, and because I even kind of forgot about some of that in the first season because we get to the second season, Mob and his brother are real tight now.
Yeah,
and they're like, they have a real friendly sibling relationship, and they're a little bit more on equal standing, and they understand each other a bit better now. Although it's it's still definitely second or third banana in the psychic power game in that show.
Well, you definitely get a real feeling for power tiers in Mob, where you get the rake and file, the buddies that you meet, that Ritsu was sort of teamed up with in the first season. Well, they all have a little bit of power.
Yeah, like the girl who can figure out what direction to go in, or the twins who are telepathic with each other. It's the guy with a little bit of telekinesis.
Yeah, and then you have people that are a step above, and that's was it Teru?
Yeah, the blonde
guy, and also Ritsu, they're a pretty equivalent power levels.
They have a few different powers they can do that are fairly impressive, visible effects. They can move things with their mind. They can levitate. They can make force fields. They can.
I would say that their power level is your usual standard power level in a psychic fighting anime.
Yeah, this was a more in a traditional shonen story. That's where your protagonist would probably be floating at for a good long time.
And then I think you have one step above, only one step, which would be more of the boss type characters that people like Teru and Ritsu would have to power up to beat. And then on a rooftop, then there's Mob.
Yeah.
And a few other psychics, where their power level is clearly well beyond what you're actually supposed to have in any universe.
They're in the realm of the ridiculous. Or have just hit a lottery of so many cool powers that they're ridiculously formidable.
So, I mean, and I really like how, there's a place for everybody in this show.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a moment to shine just a little bit. And, man, I'm really excited to see a season 2 because I think at the very end of season 2, they introduce, Serizawa, who is, the best new character introduced. He feels very much if this was a sitcom, they know they need a new character that they could lean on for the next few seasons. And Serizawa feels like he's that guy to really to keep that show going.
I got the feeling watching it, I don't know that they ever said this, but it kind of got implied to me that I felt like a bunch of the other people in the other organization, they weren't really into the boss as much as they were into Serizawa.
Possibly. So, in the second season, when the Claw, arc once again reappears, you realize that the Claw also has actually multiple levels that kind of actually now mirror what we were talking about, our power levels here. where like you got the grunts are all like the level 1s, and then the people that we saw actually in the first season were the claws, they were level, or the scars.
Yeah.
They were in the level 2s where they all have scars on their face, but all have way more powers than your normal rank and file
Like at
would.
least one really cool power, or a couple extremely useful ones.
And it just so happens then they also introduced in this one like the level 3s, which would have been actually level 2s in the first season, with the Ultimate 5, where their powers are actually are like stupid good boss level. Then of course you have the boss guy and Mob.
I mean, like the Ultimate 5 are actually strong enough to at least, make Mob pause a little bit. But
and Serizawa is one of the Ultimate 5s, and his biggest thing was that he's an adult, like he's in his late 20s, and he's a NEET, he's a hikikomori, he stays at home all day and plays video games and doesn't interact with other people because he'll just psychically blow up at him. He doesn't know how to control his powers correctly, and he gets anxious real easy, and he comes out of it because of Boss Guy, wanting to make use of his powers for his own ends.
Yeah.
And you realize that, for me, I was like, Serizawa is a really good example of what could have happened if Mob never met Regan. If Mob's anxiousness, when he sought out Regan and got the good advice that he got, if that never happened, he probably would have turned into a Serizawa. Much like how the boss guy in season 2, I forget his name.
Yeah.
We just watched the episodes, but
I don't think they drop his name much, if at all. He usually is called President by Serizawa, who seems to be wrongly under the impression that he's in some kind of company.
Yeah. And he mentions how, like, in middle school I realized I had psychic powers, so I stopped caring about anybody else except myself, and I've just been drawing in power this entire time. And he really much at first did not want to listen to Mob saying, like, no, you need other people. He's like, no, I'm a self-made man, ignoring the fact that a lot of his primary psychic powers that he can either give out power or take in other people's power for his own. And he's probably been absorbing all these other people's powers for 20 years.
Yeah.
He is depending on other people even now, even though he thinks of himself as a self-made man.
Yeah. If you disagree, you can debate me on my YouTube channel.
Please debate me on my YouTube channel. I don't have one. I don't have one at all.
I meant the boss guy.
Oh, boss guy, yeah, right, sure.
He kind of, let's just say he reminds me of a certain kind of person on the internet.
It's okay, because Mob beat his ass down with empathy.
Yeah.
And straight up gave and man, that it really shows how much A, Mob has grown, and B, how much Mob's learned to talk his feelings through, like, to other people. In season 2, where he's like, Serizawa's like, well, I have all these friends, and he's like, they're not friends as you think they're your friends, because you're not actively going out. You're still hiding in your room and not really interacting with people. Which is why I'm really glad that at the end of the season that he's now, the newest employee of Regan.
Yeah. Because
if there's anything that man needs, it's Regan, who is, when the president goes, Regan and I are the same kind of person, and I'm like, and then Regan immediately goes like, oh, sure, of course we are, and then ask how he's doing, and I'm like, no, you're totally not the same person at all.
No. And I have to appreciate, and I really think it's from Regan's influence, that many of our heroes learned the value of the cheap sucker punch to the psychic as a viable tactic.
Which, I mean, that's always some of the best moments in season 1 and season 2, and Regan suddenly, like, unloads his can of whoop-ass out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like,
all psychics have one weakness. Punches to the face.
It's about 90% effective.
Like, I still feel that, like, one of the best moments in either season is whenever Regan actually just, like, for example, in season 2, when this ultimate psychic badass guy who could teleport and, and has, awareness of other psychic abilities before they happen.
Like, yeah, he can teleport, he's got enhanced physical abilities, he's got precognition, he's got some sort of telekinetic powers, and like.
But you realize his precognition is mostly focused on psychic abilities.
Yeah.
And so when Regan comes up to him and just whoops on him, he's like, how did that happen? I didn't even sense him.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it's pretty good, you know.
And because he's hanging out with, psychics, he thinks Regan's also a psychic, and he's not. And that's always the best thing, and everyone's like, Regan's so strong, and he has no reason to tell him no.
Or, they rely on him for his brilliant strategy, and, it's like... He does give them good advice, but he's sometimes also accidentally a good leader.
It's true. I mean, no one is perfect in this show. And I really feel like, for example, in the last episode when Mob is fighting, the bad guy of Claw, he tries various tactics and various things to say to try and get to him. And I realize that not all of them were the same things. He wasn't trying he tries various tacks, various attempts to get into his brain to try and get him over to Mob's side. And sometimes none of them work until the very end, but they all were different tacks. Like he was trying different mental ideas to see which one would resonate. And I thought that was interesting. All right, let's go to some questions from internet listeners like you. Like, for example, Charlie at the _sommelier. I have 99 mob psychos. In which world/level might I locate the final one?
It's on the moon.
Yeah. That sounds...
It's in your heart.
No. It's on the moon. You have to jump off of a palm tree onto one of those little floating clouds in order to get to it. But it's there.
Well, yes, but you have to get there, but then look inside your heart. But you only can look inside your heart when you're on the moon.
Okay.
Maybe the real mob psychos were the friends we made along the way. And
no, he has those. He has 99 of them. He's looking for the last one.
I just need one more friend. And he's on the moon.
All right. Also from Charlie. Were 100 mob psychos made for the 11 kings under the sky or dwarf lords and their halls of stone?
It was for the mortal men doomed to die, obviously. It was...
No one's doomed to die in Mob Psycho 100. No, they're with the Body Improvement Club. Clearly, Mob's working on getting into the next big run.
He's going to impress that girl one day with something not involving psychic powers.
All right, this one's from Dylan at Dylan Wolf. And we'll probably come back to this one again during the Slime Anime podcast. But would you rather fight 100 slime-sized psycho mobs or one mob-sized psycho slime?
Say that again?
Okay, would you rather fight 100 slime-sized psycho mobs or one mob-sized psycho slime?
One mob-sized psycho slime.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably kick
Yeah.
a bunch of the 100 little ones.
But they're still psycho mobs, whatever that might be.
All right. I think one more. Okay, so Crystal _Shiva mentioned that I love this anime. I will say the ending of Mob was a little confusing, and I asked for an email to ask me more what it was looking for. And so Shiva responds, okay, I don't quite understand how exactly Mob saved the final boss himself. I think he possibly moved some of the energy into the broccoli seeds. Was that it? Yes.
Yeah, that was the conclusion we were supposed to come to.
Yeah, he had the broccoli seeds in his pocket, and I guess he channeled all the excess energy to keep from dying into the broccoli seeds, which made a giant broccoli in the middle of town for the amusement and confusion of all.
Now, if it helps, if you remember, during the fight with Plant Guy, he realized very quickly that Mob can also do the plant stuff too. And the trick is that, like, the main boss of president of Claw, his ability was that he could infuse people with his powers or extract other people's powers to make use of their energy for himself.
Yeah.
Mob is similar, except they can also do the same things as other people as long as he can figure it out.
Yeah, and it was even in the first season, like he transferred most of his power to Reagan temporarily. And so I guess that was already established. And we saw him make plants grow before, and it's like, okay, it all makes it's a lot of fairly foreshadowed, like almost none of his powers come out of nowhere. That's pretty good, actually.
Well, and even then, like, remember when he thinks in season 2 when his house gets blown up.
Yeah.
And he thinks everyone's dead. And he's about to just blow up the world, more or less. And Dimple stops and goes, no, they're dummies. Yeah, they're dummies. They're alive. I'm sure of it. I'm an old ghost. Come on. You know me. It's Dimple.
Turns out he's right, but he didn't really have much confidence in it at the time.
But then Mob immediately emits a psychic pulse. He's like, I know where to go next. And Dimple's like, did he just do that?
Yeah.
Did he just learn? What?
So he just learned how to detect psychics just out of nowhere.
So Mob's ability set is probably infinite, because it's really funny where, like, you know, the Claw Guy's like, look, for this story, there must be one truly insane, over-the-top powered protagonist, and that is, and then Mob walks up, and they're like, right, yes, that is Mob.
Yeah.
He is our overly powered protagonist.
But yeah, he does. Yeah, I do sometimes think Mob's abilities are just limited by he hasn't thought to try that yet. But it all fairly makes sense, either within the context of the show, from what we've seen before, or just what's kind of in the general sort of fantastical sci-fi fantasy genre for psychic powers. It's you know, I do like making a giant thing of broccoli grow out of the ground. That's just amusing, though.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's also a giant ass stalk of broccoli, because, again, there was a lot of power at play.
Yeah.
You know, Claw, president guy, he had been absorbing this power stuff for like 20 years. You know, and he was honestly at that point, and I kind of wonder if the more psychic energy he was drawing and holding in, the less of him there was.
Maybe.
Because I think as he got more powerful, remember, because he eventually, he had a wife.
Yeah.
He had a child.
Yeah.
You know, the wife wanted to adopt a pet cat. And she eventually left him because he no longer cared. And by the point that you see him in the show, you know, during present day, he's like, well, I really wanted to come to this place because their omelet rice is super good. They use like 4 eggs per omelet. It's amazing. But I don't really just care if it gets destroyed. This is just where we're here, is with the omelets.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you don't remember you grew up in this town, you remember the omelets, but you don't remember any friends or classmates or anything.
And so I kind of wonder, the more power he absorbed, the less, like, you know, ability to, I mean, he more or less says, like, oh, well, the secret of my strength is I'm a sociopath.
Yeah.
I don't care about the emotions of other people or things. It's just what I want. And I kind of really wonder if that happened more and more, because the more energy he was drawing in, he was more power than he was person.
Yeah.
Especially near the end of it, where he was just like
a walking
monster.
Yeah.
Like just of energy. And
when Mob finally pushes him to use his full power,
like he more or less, when he uses 100% of his power that he's built up, like he more or less turns himself into a bomb, and hence the whole broccoli thing.
But both he and Mob survived because Mob, you know, transferred all that power. Because Mob realized Mob finally got through to him a little bit.
And if you notice at the very end, you know, when he's turning himself in to the psychic police or whatever, that, you know, he's realizing that he talks to his son. He's like, sorry about this, and tell my wife I really wish I could talk to her one more time. His son's like, yeah, and she misses you too. You better stick around because she's going to give you an earful.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, right, bonds with people. That is important.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I liked his son, who showed up briefly in the first season, very briefly near the end, to be like, oh, here's this psychic guy who's stronger than the other people we've seen. But it turns out he wasn't going to be an antagonist. He was going to be one of our supporting good guys.
Yep.
And he makes friends with Mob's brother Ritsu, and it's like they hang out a lot in the last few episodes, and they're kind of on the same team of psychics.
All right. So, what's your favorite moment, and how many awesomes out of awesome?
Favorite moment? Oh, it's basically a favorite episode, but like the whole episode with Mob kind of trapped inside the dream world with the ghost who's kind of like tormenting him. And it's, especially when he finally, kind of comes back to himself.
My favorite moment is definitely that moment where it's kind of like the rise and fall of Regan as a popular psychic, where he's been outed as not really having any powers, and all the media are like demanding like him to apologize or whatever, like, and admit that he doesn't have anything. And just in the middle of all of that, Regan just dead ass looks at the camera and comments to Mob, "You've really grown up, haven't you?" And then that makes Mob like send everything flying in the room. And so it convinces the news media that, Regan actually does have powers, but Regan just calmly walks out.
Like, exactly as planned.
Yeah. Like, I love that moment so much.
Well, and that was also a really good, like, the way they animated it too, where all the things are like flying about as it sort of cuts away from everything, and it was really just well directed scene,
Yeah.
just like in general. That was really good. My favorite moments are any time Regan has to use his self-defense attack, where he just lays out whoop ass, but then calls out self-defense just so he's legally covered. All right, how many awesomes out of awesome?
Man, I don't want to go with 100 awesomes
if
out of awesome.
If we don't give it 100 awesomes out of 100, we're just not being genuine with ourselves.
Well, that's already been established, so ignoring that one, which is the obvious one.
One really supportive athletics club of awesome.
That was mine. Fine. One religious movement that still can't find their leader, and he probably want to be their leader, even if once he does. But I wonder what if Regan would do once he found out there was a whole religion. Anyways, out of awesome, Doug.
I'll go with the obvious. I'll go with the 100 psychos out of Psycho.
100 psychos out of Psycho.
Well then, this has been the OSMcast, your podcast for everything awesome. You can find us at OSMcast.com. Please find us on all the ways you can find us. Throw us reviews, 5 stars if you could, please. Tell your friends. We would love to grow the show again. We're updating on a way more regular basis than we used to, and we would like to keep doing so. It's fun to talk to each other and to y'all on this microphone. And we will have more episodes to come because, again, we're going to MTAC this upcoming weekend, and we're going to do lots of interviews, and it's going to be a fun time. And we'll also be at MomoCon, where we do have panels. In fact, I still need to work on the Saiyans panel that we got approved. Yes. Anywho, we'll see you next time. We're out.
涙を越えて光の誘え